Hey everybody, and I am saying this for the first time in a really long time, but welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it's been quite a while since I have uploaded anything on this YouTube account. I'm going to let you guys know why in this video, of course, but I just wanted to say hello to the people who are still subscribed to my channel, my very stagnant channel that I'm going to turn around, of course. And I told you all, if you check out in previous videos that I've put up on my YouTube channel, that I was going to be working on getting better lighting and better equipment and a better camera, and that time has finally come. I actually now have an entire film and photo studio all of my own, and I'm so happy and proud of myself for getting it. So this is just kind of full circle, and I'm so glad that I have documented myself saying these things and kind of speaking them into existence. And I'm glad that even though I didn't have this stuff before, that I still put all of my videos out anyway, and you guys are going to see such a variety of content from me moving forward. I definitely promise. But just hey, how you guys doing? This is going to just be more of a catching up to date, let's chat, let's kind of talk video. It is the most fitting video I can think to do with such a gap in time. And it's just so funny what YouTube has become, especially looking at how long I've had my YouTube page. I think I started my YouTube page when I was about 18 or 19 years old. Well, I am 29 years old now. I turned 29 last month in October. And back then, I didn't know exactly how to utilize my YouTube channel. I think all of those videos, I don't think I've ever deleted anything unless it was just horrible quality, but I think all of those videos are still there. So if you think from 19 to 29, if I knew what to do with YouTube, where I could be right now, that's so crazy, but it's okay. Everybody's got to start over somewhere, and I actually am the queen of starting over and don't mind it. It's very humbling, it's lesson learning, and it's exciting to start fresh. And I'm actually happy that I know how to utilize it now at 29. I think I'm mature enough to use my YouTube platform, and I feel like I always was, but I feel like I'm mature enough to use my YouTube platform for exactly what I am hoping that it grows into, especially for what I do now for a living, and we're going to get into that right away. So again, hello guys. Thank you for still being subscribed to me. I'm such a small page, but I appreciate the people that do, and I still see that some of you in the recent times, like in the last month, have commented. So thank you for those comments, and whether it be positive, negative, thank you so much for just giving feedback in the first place. I'm finally shooting a YouTube on my Sony 4K Handycam, and am loving it, by the way. But let's talk about my journey. Let's talk about where I've been and why I've been away. So what I do now, I actually work as a sales and education trainer for Tarte Cosmetics. Love my job. I've been there for over a year now. I think the last time I got on here and made a video and talked about what I was doing, I think I was still working as a customer service agent and tech support at Sprint. So it's been a while, guys. I think I might have even filmed a video here with my Sprint shirt on. Don't quote me, I cannot remember, but I'm here to revamp my YouTube channel, so that's fine. But yes, the last time you guys saw me, I was working for Sprint. It's actually one of my favorite jobs in all of the jobs I had. It was so fun. I was the only girl that worked there, and I actually love tech. So I didn't mind that at all. I've had few jobs sprinkled in between since then, but here we are now, and I do sales and education training for Tarte. So what I do is I have a number of stores in our market in Michigan, and I also have the Toledo, Ohio market. And what we do is we freelance and we go to these stores and we brand educate. We teach the Ulta employees and the Sephora employees, and if we do happen to pop a Macy's in, we teach them about our product, what our brand represents. A lot of you know Tarte Cosmetics, of course, and we train them on our products, and we give them gratis, of course, to motivate them to sell the product, but also try it out for themselves, because it's so much better to try something and be able to correlate that to a client or a customer when they come in store. We also do store generated events, and we do mega events where we do a couple a year where we go and we do these big fun makeover shebangs in all the different stores. It's holiday season, so we do have a few coming up. And we just finished one, but I absolutely love my job. I love the freedom of it. I love to travel to different stores. I drive a lot. It can be tiring, but it's very fun. I love not having to be in one place. I love being able to work smarter and work less and create my schedule and be able to be really flexible within my career. So I no longer work a traditional 5 days a week, 8 hours or more job. And I have, because I also, since I've left you all, since the last time I've recorded, I've also worked for Rock Connections. It's a sister company, aka Quicken Loans, where 10-hour day was your regular hours. And it was a very fun job, but it wasn't something that was for the kind of creative person that I am, if that makes sense to you. So that's another job that's passed me by and I've done, come and gone from when I left. But I no longer work traditional jobs anymore. And I'm very thankful and grateful for the change in my life. And I also know that things can continue to change, and I'm just different now where I don't really worry too much about the change. I kind of just roll with the punches. But on top of doing that, which is why I'm actually getting back to my YouTube channel now, because all of these things tie into each other, and it's important that I get on here and build my page up. Aside from working for Tarte, I actually do social media and marketing for not one, but now 2 different companies, and they are both makeup related. It is a dream come true. This is something that I have wanted to go to business school for, in business and marketing, so that I can obtain the degree to get seen by companies. But what's so funny is, you know, me putting what I wanted to do out in the universe kind of came to me on its own before that happened. So I did go to a traditional college for about a year and did great, loved it, went to Wayne State University, and I was about 19, going on 20 at the time, and just realized that what I was learning there wasn't for the path I wanted to go in, or maybe I was just still confused at such a young age. That's exactly what I needed to do to land into the career that I am in now and growing with as well. But that didn't work, so took a break on the school and just kind of focused on work and music and just things I really loved. And then I ended up finding a makeup academy right after I came back from filming the Glee Project Season 2, which I talk about in some previous videos. And if anybody wants me to ever go back into that experience in a newer video, I can. But after I came back from filming that television show, I just kind of found myself getting back into the same routine and stuck in a rut and not really moving forward with my artistic side of myself. And I looked up a school that was just for makeup only. And that school was Multimedia Makeup Academy. I obviously attended that school and learned artistry and business, and I was certified in that field. And that was years ago now that I've graduated from school. So now I actually work for them, and I do the social media and marketing, or what we call myself a social media personality for the school. I love everything about that. I love that job. It fits into what I do for Tarte so perfectly. So what I do is I create really fun content and episodes, kind of like what we do on YouTube or what YouTubers do. But the twist is I get to do it live. So there's no cuts, there's no edits. You're right there on camera and you're producing live episodes on all of the platforms that they have. So I film the segments twice a day, 5 days a week, live for everyone to watch. They are always makeup and business related. We've even done mukbangs. I even have guests on that do it, that come on and interview or come on and do a mukbang or mukbang. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly. With me, we do makeovers, we do challenges that have not yet been created either, which some of them I'll actually do on my YouTube channel as well. But it is a dream come true. I do really cool graphics. I create graphics to promote our episodes, and it is just such a dream job, and it's the reason and part of how I've accumulated my film studio, because I do work from home a lot. So now it's part of my job. So I had to build this space up for myself because I do so much of it every day, and it's not so much recreational anymore. And I'm really hoping to kind of pull the same career out of my YouTube channel just for myself and kind of build who I want to be and the things I want to share about my talents. I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking the things you are creative at and trying to capitalize off of them. I think it's just about patience, understanding that the way the internet and social media goes, it's not an overnight thing. You're not going to be like everyone else, and you shouldn't want to be. Just be authentic, be patient, and keep the same energy that you'd have with millions of followers with 300 or so like myself, and just be yourself at all times. That's what I think makes people stand out here on YouTube and really, really influence something good. Influence good, influence creativity, influence being genuine. If you're going to teach something, make sure you're being really thorough. A makeup review. Maybe I'm giving you a recipe. Maybe I'm giving you some inspiration or clothing I like. Try to just do it in your own style. And that's what I'm here for. And I feel like on my page, I always have been that way, even with my music and little reviews. Even the reviews that I have up here, I didn't post them until I actually took the time to try those products, and then I told you all how I like them. And me having 10 or 50 views didn't stop me from posting them or talking about it. I just love coming on here and being genuine, and I'm always on camera all the time. It took me quite a while to find some space to get on here and get back to my YouTube, but I was already filming for my social media coordinator job. So I figured I would turn on my new camera that I earned from doing a fellowship program and creating content for the academy. I earned the equipment for working on a project for them, and I had a blast, and it kind of got me warmed back up for YouTube. But why not use the stuff I earned and just keep using it for both work and recreation, and hopefully the recreational side, which is my YouTube, can turn into something like what I do for Multimedia Makeup Academy. I would so enjoy that. But I'm just so used to filming now. It's a perfect time for me to get back on my channel and just share everything I'm doing. Today actually marks the day, and I'll tell you what day it is because I'm obviously not going to edit and post this today, but today is a Tuesday, and it is November 6th. Today is where I actually finalized and picked up another social media and marketing account, and I really can't tell you guys how proud of myself I am to get such a job that usually requires at least an associate's or a bachelor's degree to do, or long experience with it, that I have gotten 2 of these positions just off of my persistence, consistency, and just delivery every time I do turn the camera on and do some work or promote something. I try to keep it very consistent, and just due to that and my knowledge and my personality, I picked up another makeup account that in another video I'm going to get more in detail to with you. You guys will actually see a lot of the stuff both behind the scenes and right here on camera moving forward. I'm just going to show you guys so many different things that I'm excited to bring to my channel, but this is an actual invention. And what I am doing is I am coordinating and I am handling their social media accounts for them. Kind of the same thing I do for the school, but instead of going live every day, I'm in charge of the posts. I'm in charge of reaching out to smaller influencers and getting people to actually thoroughly and authentically try the product out and give feedback to this inventor and to this brand. And well, now I have to look at it as I'm a part of that. So to this brand, and I can't wait to show it to you guys. Wholeheartedly believe in this product, and it's so awesome, and I'm so glad that out of anybody that she could have worked with, it is a small startup company that she chose me, and I cannot wait to take you guys on a journey of that. That is a life update for me as far as career-wise goes, and then I want to kind of get into detail about something else, and not full detail, but I just want to get into detail about something else, and like I said, talk about why I've been going, aside from job switching and not having the proper tools I wanted to use to film. And I've moved since, if you can't tell because there's a background, but I've moved to a different condo since. But there's a lot of reasons I kind of just slipped off of my YouTube page. I was never really consistent with it in the first place. And if you're not going to be consistent, then there's no point of doing it. So I had to reprogram myself to understand consistency truly is key when you want to do anything, and you just cannot, you have to keep going. You cannot give up. And I think I was just beating myself up. I am, and in the most uncocky way possible. I know that I am a talented person, and we rag on ourselves when we feel stuck. You know, we rag on ourselves when we feel like we're not getting anywhere with our creativity or with our dream career, and you start feeling like it's never going to happen. But when you stop, everything towards your dream stops, because your dreams cannot come out of your head. Your prayers cannot come to life. Nothing you hope for can come to fruition if you are stagnant and you leave it there. Everything we plan and pray for needs our help. It's not just going to happen because we want it to. And that was just a reality check for me that I had to realize. It was something I had to face. Like, you know what? The only way you're going to grow on YouTube, the only way you're going to get your music back there after doing the show, the only way you're going to get a social media job and everything that you want for yourself and be in the makeup industry is by being consistent, by showcasing your talents, by getting up every day, no matter how tired you are, get up an extra hour early and put a really cool makeup look on. Do what you got to do. Post snippets of your song. Go on there and sing live. Like, I used to sing requested songs on my Instagram channel every single day. No matter how many people sent them to me, I would sing them in my version. And those are the things you have to do when you really want to get out there. We all are human. We all have our down days. We all need to unplug and rest and start over. But if you just give up, and you start comparing yourself to other people, or you start doubting yourself, then you might as well get comfortable in that stagnant chair and sit there for good, because it's no way to move forward in life. And even at 29, 28 years old, I had to actually teach myself that. So that was one reason that I stepped away from social media, is because I just kind of stopped believing in myself, to be 100% honest. I just stopped believing in myself, and I needed to get out of that funk. So I stepped away from it. Another thing that happened is I went through something really personal that hurt me very deeply. And it was the first time, I want to say, since I lost my grandmother and my cousin within that same week. They had passed away, and right after I had went off to film the show, The Glee Project. And that is the last time I can remember being as depressed as I was. I mean, that's a double loss in the family. And I remember what space I was in when I was there. And I happened to find myself years later in that space again. And it was due to a heartbreak. I don't believe in putting people on the spot and out there unless it's like brand related, or somebody's dogging out doing the wrong thing to a customer, or stealing from a smaller brand, those kind of things. But when it comes to people I personally know, good or bad, I don't believe in putting them on the spot. But I took a 9-month, almost a year off of all social media. I literally just disappeared. If you go back to some of my accounts, you'll see a big gap, and it'll look like there's spaces in between. Like, I tried to get back on months in between, and you'll see I disappeared again. But I took a long and well-needed social media break on everything. It didn't matter what I was doing. And a lot of the stuff I do for my job, I needed to be on social media. But I stepped away from it like a month after my 28th birthday last year. I found myself dealing with a very, very hard and very bad breakup with somebody I was dating for years, since I was early to mid-20s, that I just love dearly. And that is the person I decided, like, you know what, this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. And during that time last year, I was the happiest person I could be, and not just because of love, but I just felt like I was finding my niche. I got part of a dream job that I wanted. And I mean, my true dream job is to be my own boss, of course, my own entity, my own brand. But the things I'm doing now are damn close to it. But I was happy. I was in love. I was feeling free at my job. Nobody was telling me what to do and how to do it. And even when they were, it was within reason and it was great. And I still had the flexibility. And I was just in a great space. And I think that is why the breakup took such a toll on me, because I was at the height of happiness. And we were off to a trip. It was my first time out of the country. It was my first time out of the country. We were headed to Paris, somewhere I had dreamed of going my entire life. Somewhere that I just always wanted to see. I mean, even my little cases and things that I have. This is a very old case for my iPad. Had Paris on it. These are just places I wanted to go. And the fact that somebody I loved and love of my life and everything was taking me there, I was just on cloud nine. And then on top of that, I had an amazing birthday the month prior and spent it with this person. And not even 24 hours before it was time for us to head off to this dream vacation, I found out some things I didn't want to find out about my relationship, and they devastated me. Not because these are not things that happened in past relationships before, because I have been through a lot, and those will be stories for another video, because I want to do things also on this channel to motivate people who may be going or have gone through the same thing or afraid of going through it. It's people that anticipate that kind of pain. But it wasn't even that I've never been through this before. And obviously I'm talking about an affair. But it was because out of anything that I thought could happen, it wasn't that. And so it hurt me. And the way that I discovered it, and the disrespect I felt, and the false narrative that was being pushed onto me by this other person and given to me, and and nobody has to have, especially not another woman, nobody has to have empathy for you. But me as a woman, I try to look at both sides. But when you come at me and your information is incorrect, and even whether you know it's not, and you still can't come to me with respect, or you look at it like you're the only one in this situation, it's not something I can back. You know what I'm saying? Because when things like that happen, every single person in that situation loses. Not one person more than the other. And everybody can stand to learn something from it. And everybody can work on something. And everybody has flaws. So it was just, my head was spinning. I'm getting ready to leave. I find this out. The narrative is completely false. It just put me in such a dark space, and I didn't think it would. But you know, to be really honest with you, it did, because I think it was really the truest time that I was honestly in love with somebody. And I felt like I was in a past relationship, but I realize now, looking back, that I was young and it was more of a lust and longing for the idea of somebody. But this wasn't that. This was me knowing and feeling it. So I think that's why it took such a toll on me. It did. And I was just devastated. I was devastated, and it got to the point where even people that I didn't personally know, and unfortunately these people were women, were actually like in my Snapchat and stuff like that, and in my social media accounts, like hinting at what could be happening. And I feel like if you feel inclined to tell somebody something you know about their relationship, even if you feel it's your place to, then do so. But for you to find any kind of gain in somebody else's heartache and loss is just, to me, is purely pathetic. And I don't hate anybody, but I can strongly dislike you, and I still would find no joy in somebody breaking your heart or hurting your feelings or degrading you. I don't care how much I dislike you. How can you find joy in that? You know? And this is what was happening. And I'm a very calm person until I'm not. And I conduct myself as well as I can until I cannot. But I make sure that I always can try to keep within my composure, because I know that I am a big-hearted person and I'm a kind person. And I try as best as I can to treat people the way they treat me. So when somebody is treating me a way I don't feel I deserve to be treated, it takes me there. And I'm just being really transparent here. It takes me there, and I felt every emotion at once going through that, and I was just disgusted with the entire saga of it all. And it was the first time ever that I've ever been in a situation where somebody has betrayed me like that, where I decided, you know what, I want to try. I want to work it out. And I tried. And we still went on a trip. And where for most people going somewhere like that is romantic and a dream come true, for me it was just devastated. It actually made me look at that place, look at that country so differently. I have to syndicate myself and go back. But it turned it into something that I never wished it was. And then I have to blame myself, because if you know in your heart how hurt you are after something like that, no matter if you decide to work it out or not, that's under your discretion. You need time to process things. So, I still went because I wanted to, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to save my relationship. There's millions of sides to stories, and I'm not making excuses for anybody. But at the time when you hurt and you're in love, I wanted to save my relationship. So I still went. And it was a terrible decision, because I spent the whole time just sick to my stomach and hurt and sad. I couldn't really pull. There were moments that were great, but I couldn't pull myself out of the sadness and the depression that I felt. And so now when I look at Paris, that's what I remember. And I gave myself that memory. I didn't give myself time to process, especially if it's the first time ever you're going to decide to give somebody that kind of second chance. Because like I said, it was something I've never given a guy. If you hurt me like that, I don't maim you or degrade you. I just, you know what, okay. And I keep it moving. But something about this person, I just felt like it wasn't them. And I still, to be honest with you guys, I still believe that that's not them. There were a lot of factors in between it, and it could have been done so differently. It could have been a walk away, it could have been a breaks, but it wasn't. And I got back. And that's when the change in me just started to happen. I just started feeling myself closing off more and more and more and more. And obviously, after that, because everything just happened too fast and didn't happen properly, it didn't work out. Okay. And I just felt myself just falling deeper into this beating myself up that I was doing prior to all that. And to just feeling like, when am I ever going to find somebody that I'm enough for, Everything just came down on me when I got home from that trip. And it's when I realized that I needed to close myself off. I needed to be alone. I needed to separate myself from the social media. I needed to not be looking to see what was going on with him and that person. And I needed to stop, because I was torturing myself with things that I could never change. I couldn't change what happened. I couldn't change what was going to happen. All I could do was be in control of my change and my actions, because I'm not perfect. Never will I be. And it was just a rough time for me. Love is very important to me. And when I discovered the way I felt wasn't going away, I decided, like, you know what? I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a break from social media, and I'm going to get me together. And I'm going to wait until I'm in a well enough space to handle what comes with social, because I represent a brand, and I didn't want my emotions to flow over to whether it was my personal account or not. I didn't want that stuff to flow over to my social media, because when you represent a brand and you do what I do, that stuff can't be attached to your name and your account. You have to uphold professionalism no matter what you're going through personally. And that is something too, I feel like a lot of people in our generation and in the younger generation, you need to learn that not everything personal and emotional can flow over to your work life. It doesn't matter how you feel. You have to think before you type. Even when you're commenting on something, you got to think before you type, because you may think deleting it makes it go away, but it doesn't. It doesn't. It's there forever. People can dig it up. We've all done it. We've all said something or wrote something or posted something that we regret, and just remember that it's going to be there. And I didn't want that to happen. So I took 9 months off. I went through a lot in those 9 months, both great and both sad. Like right after that happened, right after I decided, you know what, after dealing with this, I need a break. An hour before, I was on my way to one of my stores, and I was just so emotionally just distraught, thinking about everything, and I almost ran myself off the road in a terrible rainstorm because I just wasn't being in control of how I was feeling. You can't drive like that. I parked, made it a little early to my store. I gave myself some time, and I'm not gonna lie, I sat in my car and I just cried. I just cried, and I prayed for, and I hate crying on camera, but I prayed for those feelings to go away. Because I was tired of feeling like that, but at the same time, you have to feel. Because you're going to suppress it otherwise, and it's going to come out negatively. Or it's going to come out in the most inopportune time. And I've had that happen, and I've lost things in the past being younger because of that. And I didn't want that to happen to me, because I feel like when you learn the lesson, you stick to that lesson and you move on to the next mistake. You don't keep making the same mistake, right? You got to learn. Mistakes are not to be repeated. You're to experience new mistakes. And I believe in that. So right after that, I had got an email from the academy, and they wanted me to join the fellowship program for them, something new they were trying with students and alumni. I'm an alumni. And they wanted, they picked 4 of us to create content for their YouTube channel because it's a new realm for them. And they're growing so rapidly, and they understand that social media is kind of the way things are going now, especially you going to a media academy. And I was chosen to do the project, and it was exactly, honestly, it was exactly what I needed going through that. It was exactly what I needed to get through. And it was amazing 3 months. I enjoyed so thoroughly creating content with the proper equipment, and it also gave me so many tips for my own YouTube channel. And I loved every moment of it, and I just didn't want it to end, but it ended. I got gifted this amazing ring light. I'm filming in front of you guys. I've added additional lights, and I got gifted this awesome camera that I didn't even know existed. I was so stuck on the Canon. This is great. This is great. And that was an offer too, but this one is amazing. And I was just proud of it. I was proud of the experience. I was proud of somebody entrusting in my content creation. My dog is chasing her tail. Hush it. And I was proud of that. And like I said, I didn't want it to end. It was such a good experience, and it gave me something to do. Going through what I was going through, and I wasn't suppressing things anymore. I was taking things day by day, and I was being productive, and it felt amazing. And next thing you know, they liked what I've done so much that it came to what I told you guys I do now in the beginning, where I'm actually a part of the team, and I create content for them every single day. And I have the creative reign. I get to make the episodes. I get to get other creative people on camera and film them and showcase their talents. I get to come up with kooky challenges. I get to eat on camera and talk about makeup, and it just goes to show you what you ask the universe for, you're going to get. What you suppress is going to boil over like hot water in a kettle. And it was just what I needed. But that time off was so eye-opening, and it was so healing for me. And I think that it's important. You don't have to do 9 months like I did. But I think it's important for all of us to challenge ourselves to walk away from social media sometimes and reflect on the things around you and the things inside of you. Listen to me when I'm saying it. The things inside of you. Because you manifest your own greatness. So if inside you're carrying pain, and if inside you're carrying resentment, and you're carrying anguish and anger, these are the things you're projecting out to others. These are the things people see when they look at you, no matter how many masks you pick up and put on. They're going to notice. People are good at seeing right through people. And that taught me a lot. That taught me a lot. And was it easy to be off of it like that and not have anywhere to be creatively expressive? No, it wasn't. But after a while, it was the norm. And it felt good to not get up and check my phone and check social media every day and want to post on there about how I felt or what I was going through. And it felt good. It wasn't easy. Aside from like my mother and some very like close friends, I chose to go through that process alone. And people that I've been close with all my life, I actually didn't tell them anything until well after I got back on social media about what I was going through. But I felt like I needed to deal with that pain by myself. I needed my realization. I didn't need other opinions. I didn't need anybody making me angrier. We all women, we know how we are. We can't stand when stuff like that happens to us. But what good was it going to do me to be around anybody who was going to give me an opinion on what I should have done or what I should do moving forward, or who not to trust? And I didn't need that. I needed me. I needed God. I needed to heal myself. I needed to dispose of any kind of negative vibes or habits that weren't going to help me in my future, that didn't make me any better. And I needed to work on myself. And I did. And it was a very liberating situation for me to take such time away from social media. And in that time, it just reminded me of how strong I was. But it reminded me as well that it was okay. It's okay to be weak sometimes. It's okay to be vulnerable sometimes. It was the first time since childhood, when I was young. I had, at the time, I didn't know what it was. I was a kid. I grew up in the hood. I'm black. We didn't, the whole anxiety and mental instability, it's very taboo in the black community. I'm just going to say it. We either don't diagnose it or we sweep it under the rug, especially black women. We are raised to be so, and it's unfortunate at the same time, but we are raised to be so strong and resilient. But at the same time, when you raise up like that, no one teaches you how to be vulnerable. So you're afraid of it. And then when you do choose to, or you choose to express yourself, you're an angry black woman. Oh, you're mad. You got daddy issues. Not every black girl is fatherless. And this going through this was the first time it reminded me that I had anxiety. But just like when I got diagnosed with it as a kid, it was something very tragic happened to me as a child that created it. I never, to be honest, I just never really used it as a crutch or told anybody about it. I just dealt with it and I used creativity to get through it. And I never let it hinder my life. And I know for some people, they don't have that same strength. Like they can't get through anxiety like that. But I could. And I believe that I still can. But this situation was the first time it came back as strong. And I'm not going to lie, that first couple of days, it was hard. Like there were days, and maybe too much information, but I want to be very transparent with you all. There was days where I couldn't control my bowels. I was so anxious. I couldn't eat. It didn't matter what I tried to do. I couldn't do it. And I didn't like that. And when I don't like something, I change it. If I can help it, I changed it. And I used that experience to be stronger. I said, you know what? I don't like to feel like this. So I chose to take those 9 months and feel on my own time and properly and in my own home, not at work, not on social media, not on camera representing somebody, not at an event with Tart. I decided to take those months and feel every bit of everything I had to feel and let it out. If I felt like crying, I cried. If I felt like screaming, I screamed. If I felt like laughing, I laughed. If I felt like cursing somebody out that wasn't even in the room, I did it. But then I also taught myself affirmation. Started writing notes, reminding myself how amazing I am. I started writing notes, reminding myself that you can do things about flaws you don't want and that some flaws actually make you who you are. When I was upset about something, instead of letting it fester, I would say it out loud. I'm really upset today. It could be the garbage disposal is broke. I'm upset about the garbage disposal being broke because now if I need to dispose of something and I don't want it in my trash can, I can't do it. Now I've got to call my landlord and bother my landlord. What's the solution? I'm going to calm down. I'm going to call my landlord. I'm going to get the garbage disposal fixed. So I started creating this method for myself. Say it out loud. Say out loud what you're dealing with. Acknowledge that you're upset about. about it. Acknowledge why you're upset about it, and then work towards a solution. So say it, acknowledge, work. And I created this acronym, SAW. So you're sawing away at your problems. You're sawing away at those issues, and you're doing it in a healthy manner. So in that 9-month break, I created that, and it helped me so much. Then I got back to writing, and from then on, I kept journals all throughout my childhood and teen years and early adulthood, and I will never not keep a journal, because it is so important to write down what you're going through. And don't just be transparent with others, be transparent with yourself. You can't sit there and talk about other people's issues or issues you have with other people if you can't acknowledge your own, because we all have things we can work on. And that's what I started doing. I started writing. Even when I was in Paris, I kept a journal, but the problem with that journal was it was a book full of why. It was a book full of why. Why is this happening? Why do I feel this way? Oh, I'm so... Nothing. It wasn't solving anything. It felt good to write it, but when I look back at it, all it did was make me more depressed. And it victimized me. And I don't care what I go through, and I've been through a lot. I'm nobody's victim. Nobody's victim. And I don't want to be. It's not a cute title. It's not something that I want. And I've been victims in other situations where, yeah, I'm a victim. And even in those times, I didn't want that title. And so I took that book that I wrote there, read through it, acknowledged it, and I burnt it. It's gone. And I started a new one when I got back home. This one was different. I would write down what I was going through. I would write down my affirmations, and I started to create solutions. I started to talk about where I wanted to be in 5 minutes, where I wanted to be the next day, where I wanted to be, who I wanted to be in an hour. And that's when I started seeing a change in myself and realizing the woman I know I am and the woman I was excited to become. And it felt good. It felt good. And those are just tips from me. If you are ever going through something, or you feel like you need to step away from social media, or maybe you're going through a heartbreak too, you lost a loved one, keep a journal. Talk to yourself. You're allowed to. Affirmation. If you got to leave little stickies around your home or your bedroom or your dorm to remind yourself of who you are or who you want to become, do it. Because the power of the tongue is that powerful. You can speak greatness, or you can speak devastation into your life. And I know that because I've done both. And I just want to share those things with you guys. The tips you can do, and how liberating it was to finally break away from so many falsehoods that can be on social media. Because the thing is, not many people are going to share the downside of their life. Instagram is meant to be pretty. It's meant to be enticing. It's meant to share your favorite moments. It's meant to do that. It's meant to make you want somebody else's life, doesn't it? When you're heartbroken and you see somebody out and about on a trip, and those are things I was seeing. And it make you feel like, well, I don't have that. But you don't know what those people are going through behind that camera, or that photo, or that live, or that vlog. Even if you find somebody who's traveling the world, you don't know the ins and outs of their life. So you don't idolize it. You be you. And that's another thing with jealousy people don't want to admit. And during that time, with that, all the stuff I found out with my breakup, was the first time ever I've experienced jealousy. And I was so shocked, because it was something I just never dealt with, thankfully, in my life, because I was raised to not feel that. I was raised to be confident in who I am, and be very proud of who other people were, and be very humble, and be very praising of other people's accolades. That's the way I was raised. But this particular time, because it dealt with my heart and someone I cared about, I felt that. And I had to be honest with myself. Why do I feel this? And the reason I felt it is because I was looking at that person and my own self and where I was at the time. And it wasn't that I was in a horrible place, but I was just seeing things, and not even the same things, but things that I could improve within myself, that I could do. So that's my advice. If you ever feel jealousy, you have to get to the root of it. A lot of times it's a self-reflection. And it's what you want to do. It's what you want to see for yourself. You may not want to be a doctor like the person you're jealous of, but you might want to be further in your career as a, I don't know, maybe you want to be a big time wrestler, or you want to be a singer, or you want to be a pastry chef, and you're not there. And then somebody you're comparing yourself to is making you jealous. It's not because you're a hateful person. It's not because you're chemically off. But you have to realize it's a self issue. It's an ego issue. And usually it roots down to you and something you're lacking within yourself or something about that person you admire. And instead of us admiring it and moving on and then going to work on ourselves, we take it and we internalize it. And we turn it into jealousy, and it's simply not healthy. So if you are strong enough and ready and willing to admit that, I promise you, you won't feel jealousy. And when you do, it'll last for a second. So these are all things that I learned taking all of that time off of social media. And I just want to remind you guys, pictures are pictures, videos are videos, but everybody has some kind of struggle. Don't let that stuff make you feel like your life isn't going anywhere. And if it's not, do something about it. Seriously, work towards it. It's not going to be overnight. You want to travel? Am I saying you're going to be able to get up and travel the world in a month? No. You may not be able to. It may not be your budget, but work towards it. Start saving. Start making a budget plan. Start mapping out the things you want for yourself. I can't express to you how important it is to walk away from social media. Give yourself a break. And now that I am back, you know, it feels great. I touched on some of these issues a little bit, but when I got to representing multiple brands, some of them I removed because, again, I'm representing a brand. So when you look at that brand and you see that I'm representing it, you can easily go to my page. And even if it's inspirational or I'm just being truthful, not everything belongs on social media like that. Especially when the main source that I'm using is still that Instagram account, you know. So I took those things down, but I still keep inspiration. I still let people know, hey, I've been through some things and I'm back and I'm better, and every day I'm working on a new struggle. Every day I'm maintaining the new person that I'm discovering, and every day I make a decision to not let social media make me for me to make it. And that is my advice to you guys. And these are all the things that were open to me, and I was able to go back when I took all that time off and really enjoy just being a human, being a person. And even still to this day, now that I'm back and I do it as a job, I don't find myself having to Snapchat or video or take a picture of every moment I have. I had a wonderful birthday this year. I've done some really cool things this year. I went on vacations this year that I planned for myself, going through all the things I went through. I didn't video every moment. I didn't capture everything. I didn't Snapchat everything. And I'm glad I didn't, because they were my moments to have. And sometimes you'd be amazed what you miss when you don't put that camera down, you know? And that social media break taught me that, and I'm glad of it, because I grew up in a time where none of this did exist, you know? Like I said, when I had social media or I had a YouTube at 19, people weren't making, not very few people were making full livings off of YouTube, okay? So for me, it was just fun. And I wanted to get back to that. Of course, you want to generate your career off of it if you have the talents for it, or you have something that you can sell or do. But I miss that. I miss just doing something because I genuinely wanted to enjoy it. I feel like we try so hard to try to capture things and keep up with the Joneses, and that's what photo books are for. That's what albums are for. That's what this is for. That's what journals are for, right? Everything doesn't have to be on social media. So those are all of the things that I learned, the tips that I gave myself. Another really good tip that I want to share with you guys. I'm actually really proud of myself for just tearing up once, because I wanted to be very articulated in this video. I didn't want it to be some sob story. Oh, he broke up with me. I don't want that. I wanted to give you guys, kick y'all some knowledge and say, hey, I'm back. But another thing that I picked up from that time off of social media is I now dedicate, and only because I can't do more because of the nature of my career now, but I now dedicate one day a week where there's absolutely no social media whatsoever in my life. Don't matter what platform it is, don't matter what's going on, could care less. I'm not posting. I'm actually taking the day, especially working from home. When you work from home, then you also travel and work as much as I do. You can feel like your job consumes you. But I decided I needed to give myself back some serenity. And no, I can no longer take 9 months off of social media anymore when I do social media for a living, or I work for such a social media generated company. Whether I'm not one of their social media people, but we love tartlets. That's what we call ourselves at Tart. We love to share our products. We love to talk about our looks. We have our own little social media that we all post on. So for what I do now, it's impossible for me to duck off of social media for several months. So instead, what I gave myself once I returned is one day out of the week. It could be any day you want, of course. I choose Sunday. That is the day that one day where I don't have to go anywhere or do anything or film anything. And I take that day and I do the stuff I like to do. Maybe it's playing with some makeup I haven't touched in a while. Cleaning my house. I actually enjoy cleaning. I love to cook. I cook homemade. I learned how to cook when I was very young from my mother and my grandmother. Cooking a new recipe. I just created a bomb pumpkin chicken soup that just was delicious. I made it twice in a week. It was that good. I love to read. I love books. I love to read. I love to escape within the pages of a book. I love the leaves. I love, I want to get in the gym and go do some swimming classes. I know how to swim, but I would love to be a strength swimmer. I love going to movies. I love to have hot cocoa and just chill at home and listen to music. Or honestly, I love to listen to rain sounds because I love rain. I just dedicate that time now, or maybe I've got some creative ideas I just want to jot down and I don't want to put them anywhere quite yet. I dedicate one day to that. No social media. Focus on you. Take a bubble bath. Do a face mask. Go get a massage. I'll tell you something really fun and silly I did, but it made me feel good. I bought a personal cake and got milk, took it home, and ate it and watched Harry Potter. And it was a good day for me because it was something that brought me joy. But yeah, these are all of the things that came out of taking that hiatus like I did. So now you guys know, even if you were wondering and maybe you weren't. Like I said, I'm not on this page, so I don't expect a lot of people to keep up with it. But again, I appreciate those that are still subscribed, and I hope to gain more people. And I want meaningful content on my page. I don't just want makeup tutorials, because I'm more than that. And I didn't start off as a makeup page. I started off singing on my page, and that's going to continue as well. But I have so much more now at the maturity level I am in the older age to bring to my channel. That's what I was doing. Now you know why I was gone. But I'm hoping that I've given you all some kind of tip from it. And that for those of you that may be in a dark place now, understand that being in a dark place is temporary unless you allow it not to be. If you try to stay in the dark place, you're going to remain there. If you are a person that suffers from severe depression, I know that's a different situation. There are some people in my family that do, but I'm going to tell you, they still find some joy. They still find things they like. So fight for what you can control is what I will say to you guys. Because the one thing I can't stand that I also see a lot here online and stuff is the false use of any kind of mental disorder, and it drives me crazy. You don't have it, or it's something you can cope with. Like I said, I was diagnosed from something very tragic with anxiety, and I still don't use it as a crutch. I still don't throw it in people's face because I can function with it. And I'm not going to sit here and use it as a sympathy card and run it to the damn ground, because it's people who cannot function with anxiety. It's people who really suffer with depression and suicidal thoughts. And I've even been there. But I function with it. It's okay to go through stuff. It's okay to not have a good day. It's okay to not like somebody. It's not okay to not like yourself, though. Just keep that in mind, because you're awesome. You just got to pull it out of yourself and remind yourself that. That's it for now. So I'm glad I was able to get up on here and post this video. I just think it didn't make sense to come on here right away with some kind of tutorial or music. I just want to talk to you guys, and I'm excited to see what this becomes. And even if it stays right where it's at, I'm happy for the audience that I do have. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And we will see you, or I will see you, hopefully on the next video. And goodbye. See ya.